Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. This is your latest transfer news as Chelsea move for an Ajax star that Arsenal might like. Spurs descend into crisis at the very top of the club. Their owner is in trouble in the United States. How will that impact Spurs, who look like they're going to lose Harry Kane? Also, there's some stuff going on around the midfield. And David Raya, the goalkeeper I think some Premier League clubs should have been looking at this summer, looks like he's finally going to get his move. He's going to get his move. So, look, thanks everyone for tuning in. A little bit later than normal, but I was up at 3:30 last night watching Manchester United's under-23s play Wrexham. A little bit more appealing tonight. I'll be on the United stand watching them play Real Madrid at 1:30 in the morning if you want to join me for that. But a little bit of a later show because I had to sleep in a little bit later. But I tell you what, Chelsea might not be sleeping on this deal. See what I did there? Kudus of Ajax could be heading to Chelsea for between 40 and 50 million pounds. Pochettino really wants him. Remember a few weeks ago we were talking about Dybala to Chelsea, so clearly Pochettino wants another attacking type of midfielder. Now look, I'm no Chelsea fan. I watch Chelsea with interest this season like I watch any other club, but and I don't know the makeup of Chelsea's squad anymore because I've lost count of who's left and who's coming in. But there does seem to be an abundance of attacking type midfielders for attacking. People who play off the striker, people who can drift to the wide, and Kudus would be like that as well. They were looking at Dybala. There seems to be a lot of players like that. But granted, Havertz has gone, Mount has gone. They're trying to get rid of Ziyech. So realistically, Mudrik's another one, Sterling's another one, Pulisic is still there. Really, they probably do need another player like this, but it just seems to be that Chelsea have and buy a lot. And obviously they've sold a lot as well. There's a lot of rotation in that area, which is not an out-and-out striker, not an out-and-out winger, but this attacker that can get you goals, can create goals, but sort of operates between the midfield and the out-and-out striker. And for me, I think Chelsea still need an out-and-out striker. I think Nkunku's a really good signing, by the way. I think he will be a good player. He can play as a striker, but it's not really his position, I don't think. He could develop into that. And again, Kudus would be somebody that sort of operates behind that as a creative who can and chip in with goals. Good player, though. Arsenal might be interested in with him as well. We're hearing that Chelsea are leading the race at the moment with that. Chelsea just need to get some deals done. Their season does not start well. I think they play Liverpool first game of the season, and you can't just be gifting 3 points up. So they need to be competitive for that game, and they need to start getting some business done. So what do you think about that, Chelsea fans? He's a good player. You know what? You know why he's a good player? He's a good player anyway. I mean, United were linked to him a couple of times because obviously Ten Hag was formerly of Ajax, but there was a story at the start of the transfer window he was going to Brighton. So the fact that look, that's always a massive tick in the box. If Brighton were looking to bring them in, it's probably a good player. So Chelsea going in for Kudus, and I think that would be a good signing for them. Just watch on the outgoings as well, because apparently Conor Gallagher's going to go. Chelsea looking for upwards of 40 to 50 million pounds for Conor Gallagher. I mean, that is prime British tax. I'm not saying Conor Gallagher's a bad player. I was actually very impressed with him when he was at Crystal Palace. I don't think he set the world on fire at Chelsea last season, but nobody else did. But 40 to 50 million quid, I mean, realistically, if he had a Danish passport and he'd done what he's done in the Premier League over the last couple of years, telling me he'd go for anything more than 30. So, a little bit expensive there, but British tax, Chelsea do sell well, and that could obviously help them get this Caicedo deal over the line, which is stalling, and we spoke about yesterday. Interesting. Keep an eye on that with Chelsea. And also, you never know with Arsenal, although I don't really see why Arsenal would want Kudus, because, again, Arsenal have an abundance of Smith Rowes, Havertz, Odegaards, Sakas, Martinellis, Nelsons. They have a lot of these attackers that play behind the striker. I think Arsenal need an out-and-out striker if they're going to go for somebody, to be honest. So I'd be surprised if Arsenal went in, but you just don't know. You can be surprised in this transfer window. Which leads me on to let's just move to Spurs here. But a bit of a crisis going on at Spurs, if we're being honest. So Harry Kane is expected to go to Bayern Munich. Boring. We've been talking about this for ages. But Joe Lewis, the Tottenham Hotspur owner, has been charged over alleged insider trading. This is coming from the BBC News site. That he's been charged in the US with a brazen insider trader scheme. New York prosecutors accuse him of tipping off friends, associates and employees with non-public information about companies he had business links to. This allowed him to profit from buying or selling related stocks, the indictment alleges. Of course, Mr. Lewis said through his lawyers that it was an error in judgment and he would defend vigorously this charges in court. But he's 86 years of age. Although they're describing them as ill-conceived charges, he is now going to attend America. He usually resides in Bahamas. What does this mean for Spurs? Well, Spurs have put a statement out saying that the charges have got no bearing on the club. This is a legal matter, unconnected with the club, and as such, we have got no comment on this. Now, look, we throw it in there. We're a football news channel. We're a football channel, and people are, most importantly, it's about what you put in the comments. It's about what we say as fans. Football is fans, and there will be Spurs fans out there that go, hopefully this means he has to sell Spurs, because I think, looking at it from the outside in, I don't know anything about those charges. Innocent till proven guilty. That's going to go through a court process now, but ultimately, regardless of that, I mean, it's not helpful for Spurs, of course, having, to be sidetracked with stuff like that. But the day-to-day running of Spurs will not be run by an 86-year-old who lives in the Bahamas, let's be honest. I think Daniel Levy does most of that stuff. But ultimately, I think going back to Spurs and the general sense, I say this all the time, Spurs are a sleeping giant. I don't know why people laugh at it. I really don't. And I think that the stadia, the situation, if I was a billionaire and I bought Spurs, I've really got to just spend the money on the squad and the right manager. I haven't got to build the infrastructure. I haven't got to build the stadium. They've got an amazing training facility as well. I think Spurs are a sleeping giant, not in the sense of what a sleeping giant used to be. A sleeping giant used to be, oh, look at somebody like Liverpool who've not won a Premier League for 30 years. They're a sleeping giant on reputation and history. Newcastle are a sleeping giant, but they weren't a sleeping giant before they were bought by rich owners, because Newcastle had an amazing fan base and an amazing ground, but they'd never won anything. Now that they've got the right ownership with the right vision and professionality, they become a giant that was asleep. And I think you can be a sleeping giant in many ways. You can be a sleeping giant off history and status, where you've just had a bad few years. You could say United are a bit of a sleeping giant when we won the title for 10 years. But you can also be a club that's got everything in place that, with the right ownership, can be massive overnight. We've seen it at Blackburn, we've seen it at Chelsea, we've seen it at Man City. We're going to see it at Newcastle. And I think at Spurs, a change of ownership, and that they would be up there, because if football's taught us anything, is that money will override history in the current regime of football. And, I think that's what Spurs need. I think Spurs are a business when they need to be, a football club, like many clubs, if you want to win things. Let's see what happens with Spurs. I think immediately it's going to be about Harry Kane going. But just talking about Bayern Munich, this might be low level stuff, but for the hipsters like me, I'm going to be the hipster club here. I felt that David Raya last season was incredible. He has weaknesses to his games, but you look at his save rate, you look at his touches on the ball, you look at his ability to pass out from the back, his ability to come for crosses, etc. Statistically and visually, a really good season for David Raya last season. He's been available, and people have swerved it. I'm surprised that Spurs swerved it, Chelsea swerved it. Man United were looking for a goalkeeper as well. Well, apparently Bayern Munich are going to go for him. Now, that is a massive vindication of the quality of goalkeeper he is, if he's going to go to Bayern Munich and fight and potentially get the number one shirt there. I'm really surprised that nobody from the Premier League has gone for him, because in most areas last season in the Premier League, he would have been in the top 5, with regards to goalkeeping attributes. So looks like he's finally going to get the move. I think Brentford have already bought a replacement in, so he was always going to get a move. Maybe there's still Premier League clubs waiting till the back end of the window, but I think he's had a fantastic couple of years at Brentford, and I think he'll be a real asset if he does end up going for Bayern Munich, and I'm surprised he won't be staying in the Premier League, but there you go. It's always puzzled me all summer that he hasn't had the move he probably should get yet. Anyway, get your comments in below. Make sure you smash a like on the video. What are your thoughts on the Spurs situation? Kudos to Chelsea. Is it the sort of signing they need? What else do they need to do? David Raya, is that a good move for him for Bayern Munich? And anything else you want to talk about? Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. And if you want to watch me watching United against Real Madrid, I'll be live on the United stand at about 1:30 in the morning. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. Speak to you later.